Welcome to the garden. These snake plants are doing exceptionally well. One of our cuttings has set down root, and I'm ready to plant it out today. I wanted to start with these because I think these are the greatest success. We managed to split them off a much larger plant. You can see 3 brand new leaves just there. It's really nice. We've got new leaves forming down below. That's a brand new sprout right there. And on this one that was bright orange, it was kind of the rhizome shooting up because it was just so sheltered. It's now starting to green up, and we've actually got brand new leaves forming. So that looks like its own plant. We could probably even break this off somehow and propagate it, but I really like the way it looks as just part of this little cluster. This was just 2 little plants, just really small. Ooh, and there's a new point of growth there too. But these were just about the exact same size, so they really worked well together. They really filled in, and they're starting to get that striped pattern, and the leaves look really fresh and plump and green and nice and shiny. Everything about these plants is just perfect. Until I saw these really young snake plants, I never realized just how much they look like snakes. They have the little tongues when they're really young. Eventually I think they do kind of dry back and fade, but for now they're really long and pointy like a snake tongue, and then the leaves get broad like the hood on a cobra. I mean, look at this one in the back. It just looks like a cobra ready to strike. And then the striped pattern and that little dappled color just looks like snake skin. I just love calling these a snake plant, and today I've really realized that they do look like snakes. It's pretty amazing. Even this one, like, it just looks like a little cobra. That's amazing. The plants that we divided these from were struggling for the first couple weeks, maybe even a month, but now they're looking really nice. The largest one still has a little bit of weak leaves. Some of these have drooped, and unfortunately the one that was like 3 feet long or 4 feet long is still drooping. But on this plant we had some leaves that were drooping that are now starting to spring back. I wanted to make sure to let the soil dry out completely before watering again. But now that I'm starting to water again, they're really plumping back up. I just didn't want to keep them wet because that can actually damage them. So these can go in different rooms of the house and really purify that air a little bit, add a beautiful touch of color, and because these can grow in very light conditions, you can have them all over the place. But because this one is just too tall and too heavy, I'm going to cut it right back. So that's officially the only leaf that we've lost while transplanting these, which is pretty impressive, I think. We didn't do much harm at all, even though we very aggressively split these up and divided them by individual plants in many cases. The big leaf cutting that we took, we can try to propagate, but I haven't had really any luck doing this before. We tried about 4 or 5 inch segments like this. I tried some in soil, I've tried some in water, and these are the last 2 here. But look at this, oh my gosh, look at that. That is a root. Wow, I did not expect that. Let's take a really close look and see what we've got. Look at that! Oh my gosh, we actually got one to propagate. So, it definitely died back down here. I think this is all dead. We could probably even cut that back. But the top of the leaf still looks really good. It's still nice and plump and green. And then right where that border is where the root shot out. That is amazing. 2 little roots, that is so cool. So I'm actually going to keep this in water. I think water is the way to go, actually. So, let's start these new cuttings directly in water. But before we do that, we want these wounds to heal. That's really important for succulents when it comes to propagating, especially in water. And we need to keep them upright. That's really important as well. So we'll keep them in a cluster like this. Make sure that we know which way is up, so we'll keep the point, the very tip, as a little indicator for us. So we've actually got new roots since the last time we saw it. We've got those 2 in the front. We're kind of getting new shoots off of those. And this one's actually starting to turn orange, like a more mature root. And then we have a new one at the back. That's brand new on the back side there. This is really exciting to actually get a snake cutting to propagate. So all I'm going to do is bury the dead part and just submerge those roots about 1 inch under the soil. So I'll take a little handful here and just bury it just like that. I always like to add the water that it was rooting in, just to settle it in. And now we can keep this water just like our other ones. Some of these look really thirsty. They're starting to droop a little bit. But these snake plants, when they're young especially, look just like little snakes. They've got that pattern like snakeskin. They've got these little snake tongues at the top. Eventually they do die back when they're a little bit more mature. Did you just see that egret? Wow, he's picking little fish or something out of the pond. Wish I could zoom for you, but just right over here, there's a little egret. Big white heron. But last time I forgot to show you guys this last pot. This was actually the original container that every snake plant I had was in. So we've divided that up. This one looks really good now. It's filled back in quite a bit. It looks really healthy. And we have all those other plants, several different containers. So I think dividing is really the best way to propagate. Even though we did get one to propagate from cuttings, it took a really long time. Most of our probably 12 or so cuttings died back, and we only got this one to root. So whether you're taking cuttings or dividing your snake plants, I really hope you give this a go in your garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.